Good afternoon, world. It is moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. Oh my goodness, we are broadcasting live from our palatial studio in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse. And believe it or not only is it March 25th, my sister Kristen's birthday, fourth out of six in the litter, it is the 50th episode of Grit and Good News. And that's why we've got this cake out here with a little 50 on it and
Man,
Scott's name upside down and mine right side
that's all right.
up. And
I'll eat that part first.
you'll eat that
So
part
this is
first.
50. That means 25 weeks we've been at this.
25
That's
weeks.
amazing.
You know, we've got certain people who've been with us all along,
Yeah,
but the audience grows and grows and
it
grows, and
does.
word of mouth, and
Yep.
it's a tremendous thing. I'm going to give you a brief story about how Grit and Good News came about, and it really came about when Scott started a show of his own from this very studio, not quite with all these decorations, and a man that you'll see making comments very often here. When you see it says Czar,
Yeah.
that's our man, Doug Hussar, the Czar, and he was the tech genius and really a guiding force for Scott in getting his whole show going. And
Mhm.
Scott's bumping along and doing his own show, and he's getting
Hey,
viewers
Terry.
on the Facebook, and we weren't on all the media that we're on now
Right.
at that time,
Right. We weren't.
and sometimes he had guests and sometimes he didn't. And as Scott and I came to be better and better friends, he'd have me every once in a while on to do a poem with him. And I'd do a poem. And then I got to be a regular. We had a little stretch there about 10 or 12 shows in a row where he'd have me on, and 10 minutes at the end of the show, we'd sit and jabber and talk and have a good time, and I'd read a poem, and we enjoyed it
Yep.
very very much. And finally, he said, Jeff, your poetry, it deserves a forum of your own. And so I started working with Doug on putting together my own half-hour show, and I did 3 practice sessions of it, and we did a collaborative writing of a poem together with Doug and Jackson, who we had here, and
Yep.
it wasn't half bad. And but I found there were 2 things. I found that as I would sit in front of a mic talking to you, and never anybody to talk to, just somebody
Yeah.
working the board. I grew to not like it, and I started to notice that Scott's show had evolved to where he had one show a week that was all him and one show that he had a guest. And guess what? He had so much more fun when he
With
was
the
a guest.
guests. Yeah.
And I could see it was dragging on
Yeah.
him. And it all came together. And we had lunch together at the College Street Pub, and we
Yep.
talked about it. And I said, you know what? You've talked about sometime doing a show with me, and I think it's time that we do it.
Yeah.
And we decided right there at lunch. And so we were going to start up in June, and it didn't come that fast. And I appreciate Czar walking us through, making sure we didn't do things too fast. And we did our first practice run on the 25th of July, and we did a dress rehearsal in August, and we did a final dress rehearsal in September, and we did our first show on the 17th of September. And
Mhm.
I always have kind of the same opening, and we build our way, and we built our way up to number 50,
Yeah.
and there we are.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And, it's anybody, and pretty much anybody does anymore, but anybody and everybody can do a podcast.
Right.
And thank you, Isaac. And so, and matter of fact, sometimes people that disagree with us based on the things we're talking about
Right.
will say, well, obviously anybody can do a podcast. It's their way of saying, I disagree with you. It'd be better if they just said, disagree with you, and here's why. But anybody can do a podcast. What I'm hopeful we can do or are doing and have done is that we can mix in our own community to the point where it doesn't bore those that live outside our community,
Yeah.
uh, but that it does attract those in our community to learn more, to know more, but also that we can talk about the current events and what's going on in the country and in the world. And lo and behold, the following that we have built is of people more so. I don't know. We're not able to see exactly what percent is local and
Mm.
what percent isn't. But
Well, in that regard, our content percentage has drifted, and I'd say now we don't ever have. Very rarely do we have more than 10% local,
yeah,
but we always
it's
need
probably
it. We always want it. We're from
probably true.
Waxahachie.
Yeah, I
God
mean,
bless us.
people living in Illinois aren't going to be interested in a Waxahachie parade recap.
But you know what? If there were a couple nice guys in Illinois putting on a show like
Yeah,
this, and then they said, I'm getting the news from Normal, Illinois, or
yeah.
whatever. I mean, well, it's like open
Yeah,
our
so
eyes a little bit to other places.
exactly. And so our intent, it's a passion, is to just be one, authentic. Number two, obviously be truthful and honest. We have no axe to grind. We have no desire to make people feel worse. However, we do call it as we see it, and it kind of fits hand in glove with the column that I write every Wednesday. And so we're gonna, as the future begins to become clearer to us about how these two things fit, we're going to try to meld them together with respect to the audience.
And we always have fun. We can talk about serious matters and have fun.
Yeah,
We can yuck it up about funny things and have fun.
right.
We
Yeah,
we have fun doing our history. We just always have fun.
it's a lot of fun. So hopefully you all enjoy it. I will say that we do have a number of new followers today. The column that I wrote last week went berserk. And so we've got 20, I told Jeff over, Sammy sees the real most up to date numbers, but over 20,000 people responded with one emoji or the other. We have uh, over 12,000 comments, over 12,000 shares, which is always a true indicator to me of how people value the column.
And that's the
Uh,
column, not the show.
not the, yeah.
We
So
need the show there too.
yeah, so the reason I'm sharing that is because those who see the column are now understanding that we have this show, and hopefully will be tuning in. Some of them have said they were are. So thank you for being here. I'm Scott. That's Jeff, and at the board over here is Sammy.
Sorry, I did
Our
not introduce you like I usually do, and we forgot one other thing.
what?
Our famous people who were
Oh,
number
number
50.
50.
It
Yeah,
was a short list of
yeah.
people I came up with.
I can't think of anybody. Who is it?
We had the great David Robinson, and his nickname was
Admiral.
the Admiral. We had the great Mike Singletary. I think he played every down of his life for the Bears.
Chicago.
And then didn't he coach
Then
them
he
too?
coached San Francisco.
For
Well,
San
he coached
Francisco.
San Francisco, and maybe somebody else. I can't remember.
And we had the pitcher Jamie Moyer, who he had
The
some
lefty,
Rangers time,
right?
but
Wasn't
he
he?
didn't have his whole career here.
No.
I didn't do a hard research, but
What about Lee for the Cowboys, the linebacker?
Sean
Sean
Lee,
Lee,
Sean Lee
was
wasn't
he number 50 or 51? I can't.
he
He might have
might have
been
been.
50.
if he's 50, he should be on there.
He
And,
didn't rise to the level of this show. The
Oh
bar's pretty
yeah.
high. You can't just be any old
At least
50.
I knew somebody.
yeah, and
50.
you know what? I don't pull them out of my head. I pull them out of famous.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
look at it, and it was shortest list I've ever seen. Usually, I have to pare it down.
Well, to be on
But
Great and Good News, you got to be a strong.
no, yeah,
Let's
yeah,
put it that
yeah,
way.
yeah. We don't put nobody's up
So
there.
to those of you that are new to us, we are here every Tuesday and Thursday from noon until 1 o'clock across all the platforms. The only one that we're not live on right now is TikTok, but Sammy does his work and gets us on TikTok with segments of our show. I also am doing a couple of things. I've got a current top 10 worst liberals or Democrats in Congress countdown. I'm down to number 6, so we're working our way to. It's an oxymoron to say we're working our way down to number 1.
And on Thursday, I launch
You are home.
Jeffrey Michael's favorite poems.
Nice.
So
So we're trying to do a lot of different things here, but we are so glad that you're here. We value the comments that are made. We hope you will participate. Um, I've got another column tomorrow that's going to be pretty fiery and pretty provocative, I think.
give
So
it to him.
we'll see. But we have a blast here. We're only as good as you are in terms of being here.
Dee Dee
So
Lewis, thank you, Terry.
yeah, Dee Lewis. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I want to, on a by way of updates, something happened in Ferris on Sunday. We don't cover Ferris, generally speaking, but there is something that happened on Sunday in Ferris. I would just want to update you on it. We won't have anything in the Sun about it, but essentially, here's the press release. I'm going to read a very small part of it. Undocumented Mexican national arrested after firing over 30 rounds during hallucination-fueled incident. At 2:40 a.m. on Sunday, March the 23rd, officers with the Ferris Department of Public Safety and the Sheriff's Department responded to a 911 call placed by a male subject claiming that people were trying to kill him and that his entire family had already been murdered. Upon arrival at a residence in the 800 block of East 8th Street, officers discovered that the caller himself, later identified as 47-year-old Homero Salinas, was the source of the threat. So he was the guy that was shooting an illegal immigrant. So
And
when
how often do we see troubles after 1 a.m.? Don't even be on
Yeah.
the roads
Well,
after
and I
1
don't know what
a.m.
he's taking to be hallucinogenic, but I
Don't
mean,
know that either.
that's the people can get on bad stuff and do bad
That's
things.
more than Bud Light, I can tell you that.
And that, yeah, it's a lot more than that. I think it's probably an acronym that it was something he was on an acronym. But the point here is, one, to be aware of it. Number two, we've talked a lot about illegal immigration. Continues to be a hot subject in our country, although I think it's come to a fast like stop, and which we're grateful for. But I've often said to people, the reason the sun works so hard about and for Waxahachie is that we can keep the ills of the world out. And this is a perfect example. Ferris is 30 minutes away, and here we are hearing about this sort of thing. So it's always somewhere else until it isn't. And so I wanted you all to be aware of that. I also, in the update, well, Jeff did his numbers, and I believe that's it for the update. So in our page one segment, or block as we call it, the country has many examples of starting with being rogue to being ridiculous. And I want to share and have Jeff weigh in as well. And Sammy will post some of these things on the screen for you. But let me just start with something that, and our country is going berserk. It's not getting any less crazy. It's not getting any less insane. It's not getting any less volatile, no matter what's being done. But the things I want to share with you, this one's not on there, Sammy, but uh, Jamal, what's his last name? Jamal Bowman, a former congressman from New York who lost. He was the dude who pulled the what do you call it?
The smoke alarm,
No, the
fire alarm.
fire alarm in Congress because he wasn't able to be on the vote, or didn't want the
It
vote
was
to
it
happen.
was in the middle of a hearing. Yeah,
So this dude, and he was seen on camera doing it. So this knucklehead pulls the fire alarm so he doesn't have to do what he was elected to do. In a show, and then he lost. He got beat. He was a self-proclaimed member of the what squad up
of the
there.
squad. Yeah.
And you know what? Nothing like wanting to be a member of the squad speaks of insecurity like that.
I never thought of it. Did they kind of like rename themselves after the Mod Squad?
I guess
Because that was
that was a four people. Was it four people?
I think it was three.
Oh, I guess. I don't know where they came up with that.
Yeah,
Something tells me other people gave them that
same
name.
demographic group.
But this dude wanted to be a part of it. He did that stunt with the fire alarm, lost his race big time. He also, before the election, he and the AOC got up on stage up there somewhere and were acting a fool. If I'd ever seen a fool, they were acting it. This dude was on a show the other night on CNN, called Musk, which was the nature of my column last week, is why the hate for Elon Musk. Said that Elon Musk, let me see here. He said he's incompetent. This is Bowman or Bauman. I'm not sure how he says it. Says Elon Musk is incompetent. He's a thief, and he's a Nazi, and people don't trust him. All right. So Elon says in a post on X, says, I've had enough lawsuit inbound. So I'm guessing that Mr. Bowman, if he hasn't already, is going to receive something from somebody with a badge on that says, "Here's your papers. Serving you with a lawsuit," because I'm with Musk. This crap. I want to what I want to say I can't say. This crap has got to stop. You
Did
go
you
walk around
see
calling people
him with Stephen Colbert and what happened?
Musk.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
he had a full long segment. I had a little spare time at the golf course the other day, and I see this deal, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to see the whole show, and instead, it's 23 minutes of this guy summarizing what has happened instead of doing it. But bottom line is, oh,
Musk was summarizing it, or
no, no,
Colbert?
no, this this
Oh, the
this
dude.
pod, this whatever dude.
Yeah.
Um, and they are sparring back and forth. And the more Colbert gives it to him, the more Musk comes back and says, um, what is a rich millionaire who's never done anything doing criticizing the billionaire? And they're just
Yeah.
they go and go and go and go, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
Right.
And then Musk just looks at him, slowly stands up, and walks off the
Yeah.
stage.
I mean,
He said, "I am not gonna." I mean, he just wasn't gonna just keep. It was like you're on a merry-go-round because Colbert keeps bringing up the same thing 8 different ways, and Musk keeps responding to the same thing
yeah,
6 different ways,
yeah.
and it was just going nowhere.
I don't quite get it. And so like Elon Musk, and I'm not the only one of us out here that says enough's enough. I mean, last week to my column where I was simply asking the questions related to the volatility and the hatred and the violence aimed at Elon Musk. Why do you hate the dude? I mean, if we're going to rely on silly comments or reasons like, well, he wasn't elected. Well, neither was Anthony Fauci. Neither was any bureaucrat who has committed so much fraud and abuse in our federal government. Neither has a variety of people
A
in
huge
office.
number.
And so it's a silly argument, but people keep making it. And this Nazi, all that stuff. I'm just enough's enough. And if Elon Musk, from his vantage point and his uh situation where he's a billionaire and can sue anybody however he wants to, really, I mean, in terms of having the powerhouse attorneys and that sort of thing. If he's tired of it, then I say do something about it. We're tired of it, and we're trying to do something about it. If it means me being called all sorts of names, I don't care. What people say about me is none of my business.
Help me on this one. The one thing I hear so many times in these criticisms by so many people of what's going on with Musk and the whole ability and effort to take waste away and save dollars. And you're taking that money to put in the pockets of tax breaks for billionaires. I don't know anything about tax breaks for billionaires.
Yeah,
Where's that even coming
it
from?
comes from this thing pulled out of the air. I mean, I had a guy write me the
I
other
mean,
day telling me that Elon Musk didn't pay any taxes, and I want to say, well, first of all, how do you know that? You're not able to see other people's tax returns. You're relying on sources that you don't know to be telling you the truth or not telling you the truth. But so what? I mean, if the idea is that if people are going to believe whatever they want to believe, but if they believe Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing this so that they can line their pockets, it's the dumbest argument I've ever heard. They're billionaires already, and I just don't understand why somebody can't be looked at in terms of what he's doing, in this case Musk, and people say he's doing something good for us. And so I'm with him. I've had enough. And tomorrow's column isn't going to be, it's not sugar coated in any way. It's going to make some people angry, but I'm tired of it. And the people that want to call me a divider are the very people doing the dividing. And they call it, it's like you'll see it in our meme today. It's these people who are doing it's like a guy, a burglar, getting mad at me because I caught him robbing my house and he got sent to jail. He's mad at me. And that kind of situation, that kind of nuance is happening everywhere, isn't it?
yes, and I've said this before. It's just the hurt from the election never went away, and then when so much stuff happened, so much action, so much progress, so much contrast to what had happened with Biden, and it angered him so much that
Yeah.
and and, and I'm afraid to speculate or think, and I hope my answer is correct. But had Kamala won and the shoe was on the other foot, number one, Republicans would have been hurt and devastated.
Yeah.
Okay. But number two, how would they have reacted? It, it's not a timid bunch of people who are afraid to say what they mean.
Right.
And hopefully they would hold their head up high. However, there is that extreme conservative right. And, you know, one bad apple spoils a
Yeah.
whole bushel. And suddenly they get wacko. And now all conservatives
Yeah.
are tainted by that
Well,
paintbrush. And
yeah.
yeah,
It's the January 6th kind of example, where a small percentage of people did things they shouldn't have done. I don't believe January 6th was an insurrection, but
either do I.
that's exactly what you're talking about. If Kamala would have won, she likes yellow school buses and talked all about yellow school buses and Ben Dan Graham. I bet you had she won, which I'm thankful to God she didn't, but I don't think either of us or Sammy or anybody in my world would have said, you know what, we need to go burn down a school bus to show our disapproval or our dislike or our anger. We don't do that sort of thing. Yet we got people all over the country burning down Teslas. Tesla's American-made vehicle. Americans, ostensibly Americans, are the ones that are building these vehicles because it's in America. Uh, and an idiot like Tim Walz is going around talking about how happy he is that Tesla's tanking, while his state's uh, pension plan is embedded with Tesla stock, lots of it.
And you got Jasmine, our
Our resident,
our congressional neighbor to the north,
yeah,
making positive comments about Tesla related vandalism.
yeah,
Well, who made her the queen of anything? Boy,
yeah.
well,
Well,
we had this little.
we did.
Here's the deal: the liberal press don't have much positive. uh, She's their new savior. She's their
She's their
new.
new
Put,
useful
put
idiot.
put her out. Sound bites will come.
Yeah, yeah,
And there. I hear these bites on Fox Radio, which is the same as Fox
yeah.
TV. So, you know, they don't want to be the only one not giving her PR. And so she's
Yeah,
getting crossover PR.
she is the quintessential useful idiot, particularly to the liberal media. They're using her to drive ratings if they can, and the more dumb stuff she says, the more idiotic stuff she says, the better off they are, the happier they are.
Jasmine, we need you in my chair. And I'm telling you what,
I'd love that.
my ample wide berth will warm up this seat so that when Scott and I are done talking, we say, and now here's our special guest, Jasmine. I'm going to stand up
Yeah.
and you're going to have a nice warm seat. And we hope it becomes the hot seat.
Well,
Aye.
that's the point. She represents the district to the north of us, and if she were Jake Elsie would come and talk to us anytime we want, and he will.
Yeah.
She won't because she's too worried about being on CNN and all this other MSNBC.
She'd
But
be slumming here in Waxahachie.
she should be sitting in front of somebody locally, being held to account for her behaviors. All right, we beat that horse to death.
Done.
Here's the ridiculous. This falls from rogue to ridiculous, but this falls under the ridiculous. My college roommate used to always say ridiculous. I'm like, that's not how you say it, Tim.
I like ridiculous.
So get a load of this. A Republican lawmaker from Colorado expressed shock at being told by Democrat colleagues that he had to remove a sticker supporting the Second Amendment from his laptop while in the state's House chamber. That's right. Quote, I had to cover up this. They couldn't stand my sticker, Colorado Republican State Rep Ken DeGraff said during remarks on the state House floor, pointing to a paper covering up a sticker in support of the Second Amendment on a laptop that he carried to the chamber with him. The sticker said SA. It was just two initials. I think it was
Second
blue.
Amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was blue. Well, probably wasn't blue, but it was a color. And he had it on the back of it, just like you see Grit and Good News on the back of our monitors here. He had it on the back of his, or on the opening of his laptop. It said, uh, let's see, it said shall not be infringed and signed 2A, and that was considered offensive, which I understand would be offensive to this bill. He continued. So there's a bill in the Colorado House that is, or Senate, that is about gun control. Matter of fact, the legislation that made this become so offensive because he uses a laptop. It's got SA Second Amendment on the back of it. He's got it open so people can see it, and it's in a discussion about quote. This is the bill preventing gun violence is one of the most effective ways that we can make our communities safer and save lives. Semi-automatic weapons and high-capacity magazines are uniquely lethal and dangerous, said Representative Meg Freilich, a Democrat sponsor of the bill. This bill is a common sense solution to ensure that people receive effective training and meet the requirements under state and federal firearm laws before purchasing the most lethal weapons on the market. So that's the nature of the bill.
Yeah.
First of all, we're not going to get sidetracked. They're not going to get us in a trap here to talk about stupid state bills. But her statement that gun laws make us safer is about as opposite of the truth, verifiable truth as you can be. The most dangerous city, one of the most dangerous cities in our country is Chicago, where it has some of the most stringent gun restrictions out there. In every place like that, where there are gun-free zones, where there are restrictions, therein lies a hotbed for violence. But that's the ridiculous, and
Therein.
it's absurd. All right, how about this? This would be, oh, you're really going to like this one. This is the ridiculous too. It almost fits rogue and ridiculous.
Alrighty,
All
let's
right.
go.
An Illinois lawmaker, I'm going to read this and I'm still going to not believe what I'm reading. An Illinois lawmaker has introduced a bill that critics say will make it legal for anyone experiencing a mental health episode to attack police officers. Under the terms of the legislation, the bill would provide that it is a defense to aggravated battery when the individual battered is a peace officer and the officer responded to an incident in which the officer interacted with a person who had obvious mental episode. So you're a police officer, you go to address an issue that's going on. You end up having to either arrest or
Okay.
subdue or handcuff or whatever a person. That person claims that they were having a mental breakdown. This bill, this what's been introduced in Illinois, would say that that person can use the mental meltdown as an excuse for what he or she did to the cop.
That's an after the fact thing,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
well, that
I mean,
plus,
it's gonna broaden mental issues as defenses for things.
well, yeah, exactly. Currently, a person in Illinois can be charged with aggravated battery if they attack an individual whom the person knows to be a peace officer, community police volunteer, fireman, private security, blah blah blah. That's the law now. So this would essentially change the law to say if any one of those types of people, police officer, fire person, security guard, whatever, if you're there to enforce the law and you're attacked by somebody physically and hurt, even killed,
It's
I
just gonna make
say,
it harder for people to do their duty
well, yeah, I
and
mean, so the
mm,
moron who just can't control his temper can now say, "Well, wait a minute, I got mental issues and I was having a mental meltdown." And in Illinois, that person can use that as a justifiable defense. That is imagine everybody who's been arrested will claim they were having
yeah.
a mental meltdown.
Thank
What it?
God, thank God it's not all Chicago. What do we
Well,
got
yeah,
next?
what's wrong with the
What have we
city of
got next?
Chicago and the state of Illinois?
Jeez.
Idiot governor. All right, this is the ridiculous. All right, Sammy, put that sucker up there. They them turtle. Oregon Mental Health Advisory Board includes a member who identifies as a terrapin species, a turtle, and the dude is on a mental health advisory board, a member of a state panel advising the director of Oregon's health authority on best practices and policies in mental health identifies as a turtle.
I have been told I move like a turtle.
Well, that
And in
can't
Maryland,
argue
they
with
they
that.
call their sports
The
teams the
terrapins.
Terrapins.
This dude, JD Holt, who also goes by JD Terrapin on Facebook, is one of roughly 24 consumers on the OHA's Consumer Advisory Board Council. The council is appointed, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to know that. Hello, everybody. It's JD. I use them, they, them, and turtle for my pronouns. I'm in the Springfield, Eugene area, and I get to be part of the council, Holt said during a December 20th meeting. Um, Gender Wiki, a website that documents the list of non binary genders, describes turtle gender, sometimes called tortoise gender, as an xenogender identity in which one feels a gendered connection to turtles. Now, what on heaven's
What's that got to do with gender?
I have no
It
idea,
may
but
have
I
to.
don't. And then listen to this: a board member, the OHA, Oregon Health Advisory or Authority, says every member of the Consumer Advisory Council and the perspectives they bring are highly valued. Why can't somebody just say, "We're talking about mental health here. The last person we're going to put on this is somebody who believes they are a turtle." I can't even believe I said that. I am
I can't
saying
believe
that.
we're still talking about it.
Can you believe it? A turtle. And where does it stop? What if I want to say I believe I'm Jack the Ripper? Would they let me on a board for uh
If
community policing?
if you said you were a Chihuahua, you'd fit right into your house, though. I know
I
that.
would, yeah, no
Right.
doubt. There you go. So that's
So it's
from
him.
the rogue to the ridiculous. We got it everywhere, and I can't handle it. Well, I can't handle it. But my way of handling it is just call it the way we see it. All right. So I want to talk about last week's column. So I wrote a column last week that was titled, oh, I'm gonna forget the title. Elon Musk, yeah. Elon Musk, a visionary who is hated by the left. And as I said, it's gotten by far more response to it than any column I've ever written, and really suggests that there is a desire in the world, in the country today, for people to make sense of things that just don't make sense. Now, I'm not going to write a column about why some idiot wants to be a turtle or thinks he's a turtle, but I did write a column about why the hatred for Elon Musk and the uh, again, tens of thousands of people have responded in one or another way. The small majority of people that took shots, taking shots at me, because it still is happening, are those who think I'm being a divider, those who think I don't understand Musk, those who think that the government, that what's going on is to build the coffers of Trump and Musk. Uh, so those things just fall right off my back. The one about being a divider, excuse the expression, but well, I'm not gonna say that word, ticks me off because I'm simply calling out the division uh, because of what's going on with Tesla. Somebody burning down a Tesla or promotes or identifies or supports the idea of retaliatory actions like that, calling me divider is absurd. But the column, I want to ask you, Jeff, and Sammy took him way in too, but what nerve was hit? Because that column, as I said, has over 20 some odd thousand responses to it. It has over 12,000 comments, many of them well thought out. Uh, it's got over 12,000 or right at 12,000 shares, which means that column is being shared in places we don't know. I've had dozens and dozens of people write me, dozens of people leaving direct mail messages on Facebook. Um, and a a nerve was hit. And it's a nerve I think needs to be hit. What nerve do you think that was or is?
Well, it confuses me. I mean, so much of what I've seen happening has to do with um, it's obviously about reducing waste, and your waste comes in so many different fashions. You've got programs that are bloated. You know, the most expensive component of running any business is the human factor. That's why we have robotics in manufacturing
Yeah.
so down to assembly line type of things. But even in business, anytime you can replace a process with a machine,
Yeah.
then you do it. So that has happened and happened and happened and evolved in our world for some time and
Mm.
continues to evolve. Yet government was immune from it. Okay. So now this is just coming in and finding the waste and getting rid of the waste. And one of the biggest things that they have done in finding waste is it's a body count. So
Yeah.
so much of the waste is people that aren't at a job. So many things. So many people who don't. You got 10 people doing one person's work. So I think there's a perception by the Democrats who used to consider themselves the party of the working man and of the middle class that it is disproportionately affecting their base of people.
Hmm.
And you know, in any type of organization, you got a pyramid with the smallest group at the top making the most money,
Yeah.
and that happens in a government agency
Right.
too. So maybe it is disproportionately affecting those people in the lower jobs, and I know in some of those departments it had to do with getting rid of people that were new hires less than 1 or 2 years.
Right.
So I think that might be part of the beef. But beef or not beef, fat is fat, and
Yeah.
it needed to be trimmed.
Well, it's the very same people who have been calling for that to be addressed for decades now that are now all up in arms about it. And so I want to ask. Sammy, did you want to add anything? You think the nerve that was hit?
Nothing crazy. I just want to say, like, it on TikTok, whenever I post videos that don't have Elon Musk in it, it's kind of, chill and,
Yeah.
good video. But as soon as they
Mention
hear
him.
Elon Musk or anything about him, they attack it
Yeah.
and just it's insane. So
Yeah, it's definitely a provocative word, the name Musk. But so you're retired, yes?
And that was a cologne I never liked, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I like
It,
Jovan
but
back in the
it
day.
was harsh, harsh.
But you are retired.
Yes, sir.
Your wife's retired.
Yes, sir.
You have other people in your circle that are retired.
Right.
Have either of you laid awake at night and said, "Honey, Elon Musk is going to take away our retirement, our Social Security. We're not going to get any more money."
Well, that's another thing. When he says he's gonna deal with Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, what he's going to do is find the waste there. There's no effort to reduce benefits. Of course, we got enough of a problem with benefits running out. We got
Yeah.
enough of because the big SS is funded always by the people working today,
Yeah.
taking care of the generation receiving. And as the baby boomers grow into retirement boomers, and then you got less and less people working.
Mm.
It's a tenuous
Yeah.
situation at best.
Yeah. So why,
But
to me, it's why aren't those people that are in retirement saying, "Thank goodness he's doing this because this solidifies, strengthens
yeah,
the
yeah,
retirement funds and the Social Security funds that are owed to millions of Americans." Um, but I guess you can look at anything beautiful and make it ugly uh, in a split second. And so the claim that he's doing this to Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare, and he's doing things that are strengthening the very things that the left is claiming that he's destroying. It makes no sense.
yeah.
And
I don't know.
this continual Hitler crap. I'm tired of talking about this Hitler crap. And I mean, I'm not giving any credence to those who write me and talk about, well, he was saluting, doing the Nazi salute. I just don't. It's just too much. So the nerves are being hit. We need to make sure that we're addressing those the proper way, both on this show and in my column. My column tomorrow, again, I'll give you a sneak peek that the title is from Aunt Jemima to Adolf Hitler, and why the left is obsessed, or how the left is obsessed with labels. And I'll get it again from that small group, but the overwhelming people will say, "Yeah, that's exactly right." So, but I'm just going to keep with the show, and I am with my column. Try to be a source that you can go to, that you get authenticity in our views. That we're not going to tell you anything just because we think it is what you want to hear, but that it's how we feel. And Jeff and I don't always agree, um, and that's good. So what's that old thing about it? Two people always say the same thing, only one of them is needed.
That's right.
Yep. So anyway,
I'm
there you
gone.
go.
I'm gone.
All right. Random thoughts. You got 5 of them
I got
today.
5 of them.
All right, lay it on us. You had to take a
I was trying to. Oh, I know what it was. When I ended up the history quiz this morning at 1 and 6,
oh my
and I
goodness.
said, Rita, that will help Scott realize that you don't cheat and help me with it. And then she said to me, Mama said there will be days like this.
Yes, anything right, that's for sure.
And this next one kind of has to do with our whole situation in life. Figures lie and liars figure.
Yeah,
And this also has to do with how we lead our life. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
yeah.
And I don't know where I wrote this down because I heard it somewhere and I thought it was so good. It's not that I don't believe it. I just want to make sure it's true.
Yeah, yeah.
And finally,
It's good.
yesterday, I was working at the golf course for a high school tournament, and we had 3 carts for coaches and pay carts for parents. And so I'm asking these adults as they come in, are you a coach or a parent? And this one lady says, well, no, I'm just a parent. And I said, oh my gosh, I say this all the time, ma'am. You're not just a parent.
Yeah,
You're a parent. Don't ever use just. in front of what you are. My dad
Yeah, I
taught
agree.
me that at a restaurant in my high school days on a parent take a kid out, and we were on a sales trip in western Wisconsin, and my dad was asking her, well, what do you do besides here? No, I'm just a waitress. You're not just a waitress. You got my toast the way I want it, and nobody ever gets my toast. When I
Yeah,
say I want my toast burnt, they don't understand what I mean.
yeah, that's good. I
Okay?
agree.
All right, there you go.
Speaking of that golf tournament, did we have to pay when we went last week, parents? I don't remember giving anybody any money for a cart.
Well, Ross,
Did
uh,
somebody pay it? Probably.
either paid it or your lovely bride paid it. Who went up to the desk?
I did.
Well, I didn't tell him you were my buddy. I don't
Well,
know.
I don't know.
I don't know
I
how
don't
you
know. I
skated
don't
on
want to
that
cheat
one.
anybody out of any money.
Yeah.
All right. So in our he said oh, Sammy, do you have any come on. Random thought right now. I'll give you $1 million for a random thought.
Dogs are the best.
Thank you very much.
By the way, Dad, I was leaving the house, opened the
I
front door.
heard.
EJ looking right at me. I said, "What's up, buddy?"
We got two little chihuahuas, one skinny and tall like a wide receiver. The other one's dumpy like and bowed out like a linebacker. And EJ, the skinny one, 2 days in a row now, he's found newly discovered a way to get out under our fence.
Oh,
And the problem he won't go far, but the problem I have is that some big dog that's loose
Yeah.
will kill him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he
So
just ran
yeah,
right back in.
just paid Jeff Scott. There you go. I know where that'll go. I need to pay him for my very good corned beef sandwich last week.
that was
That was a
complimentary.
bomb.
And your cake today's complimentary. All
Oh,
right.
oh yeah, cake. I got
Cake,
my
yeah.
Very
Cake.
okay. Block. We've
Sonia
got.
says that we paid for it. But yeah,
Oh, we did pay
she's
for it.
the we. She took care of it.
Oh,
Ross paid for it.
okay, good.
And
I
then
didn't
she
know.
paid Ross back.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. He said, will the attacks on Tesla, the burning up of vehicles, stop anytime soon? And what purpose does the act itself? What is the purpose?
The
Will it
per-
stop?
well, evidently Trump has made some comments about heavy heavy punishment for them.
Yeah.
Will it stop? I don't know. What was the third part? Why?
Well, yeah. What's the purpose?
What's the purpose? The purpose is to show how many knuckleheads we have in the world who have the ability to do damage. There is no purpose. The purpose is just to show that they don't like Elon Musk, even though the people who have you heard that all the signs that they use are made? They're like custom made and identical in all these different places across the country. They all got the same signs.
Yeah.
So it's not just like little random guys making a decision to do this. There's people behind this,
Yeah. I
and,
told
and
you, I've told the viewers that my wife and I, will listen. My wife can barely listen to it, but we listen to Rachel Maddow for 15 minutes roughly every night, largely only because I want to hear what's being said on the left, and it doesn't get any more left than MSNBC. Um, and it's like watching a train wreck. I just can't deal with the mannerisms, but I watch it, and uh, they are gleeful. They are gleeful over the burning down of Tesla, shooting up dealerships. They are gleeful at these signs. Last night, for the whole 20 minutes or 15 minutes, all she did was show what she calls very large protests from one corner of the nation to the other, and talks about those signs. And she says, "Hey, look at that sign, how great that sign is." And I'm thinking, does she really believe? I know she doesn't. Does she really believe that that's a organic grassroots effort, or can she not understand that George Soros, plenty of other dark money, plenty of other folks on the left organize this stuff? You don't have people show up in DeKalb County, wherever that is.
Illinois.
Yeah, okay. In the morning with a bunch of signs that all basically say the same thing, and expect anybody that is willing to look at things through truthful eyes and to be honest with themselves that that's all random. That's not all random.
Hmm.
Most people out there
Yeah.
don't believe that Elon Musk is doing away with Social Security. They don't. It's just unreal to me. But Sammy, what do you think? Any purpose of them doing that? Because they're kids your age doing it.
No, and I will never watch it for 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Never.
Well, you will if I tell you. But I only watch it so that you should watch it
No,
so
I
you'll
know.
know what
Yeah,
they're
I've
saying.
I've sat on CNN for a little bit, but it's just
That's even worse. I don't know, maybe not. But anyway, all right, there we go. I don't think their purpose may be to get attention and to drive Elon out of business. But you know how hard it is to drive somebody that's worth 380 billion out of business?
Pretty tough. Pretty
It's
tough.
going to take a while. All right. That means it's time for Mr. Waxahachie Poet Extraordinaire. You already know. Oh, you already got it up there.
I
Look
got
at
it up.
you.
I
You
got it
printed
up.
it out this time.
Well, because it's not from one of my books.
Oh,
It's new material. I
oh,
have been finding that since I've been doing a lot of teaching lately, my all of a sudden I'm thinking in rhyme quite a bit of the time. See
are
how
you?
that it
Yeah.
just rolls off like that.
You're a poet and didn't know it.
Yeah, poet didn't know it.
Hmm.
And so I wrote this poem in honor of today's show, and it's called
Before you start, Sonia says she can't stand that woman,
Right.
Rachel Maddow. Okay, go ahead.
And you're saying for hanging with them for 15 minutes
Yes.
when 10 would do. It's called the Big 50. And as I like to say, it goes something like this. Mutt and Jeff, Scott and Jeff. Scott's no Mutt, and I'm still Jeff. Yep, 50 shows in our pod. Hard to believe, but it's not really odd. We're a twice weekly lightning rod. Grit Good News celebrates its 50th show. I'm I'm most certainly sure you were dying to know. Our man Sammy Brooks runs the soundboard. I just give him the look and he'll play a poem from my book. We chatter about all manner of things, ranging from the downtrodden to mighty kings. No subject is off limits. Anything's good for a few minutes. The segment Today in History is always a blast, a true challenge to recall dates from the
Pat.
past. All the big media carry our show. We do it for free. They rake in the
Dope.
dough. We make you laugh or think, but rarely make you cry. Many folks agree with what we think, yet others tell us that we think. Still, if you're listening to us today, what can I say? We must not be all that bad, opines this Waxahachie lad.
Very good.
Huh?
Yeah, nice.
New stuff,
That's
new
a good one.
stuff.
Yeah.
My juices are flowing,
You're
man.
gonna have another edition, another book soon. Very good. So yeah, the comments that we get, the comments. Some people will say, I'm not here for anything but the comments, or I'm bringing my popcorn, because I mean, people are nuts in the good ways and bad ways. Anyway, all right, it's time for our 1 and 6. That's brutal.
There we go. There we go.
I've been wanting to eat this this cake since the whole
6.
show.
Oh my God.
Terry says, awesome, Jeff.
it's good
Thank
cake.
you. Thank you, Terry. I tell you what,
It's
Is
good.
it out?
I pray you do better than I do.
Oh, I will.
I'm telling you,
I mean, it can't be worse than 1 and 6, for goodness sakes.
well, we'll see. We'll see. There's nothing.
It
Nothing
can't
to
go
grab
anywhere
a
but
I'm
up.
I
nothing
might
to
be I might beat Jeff for the first time.
there's nothing to grab a hold of
I
on
mean, a
most of these.
blind
Here we go.
blind squirrel
We
beat you.
open with Jacob S. Coxey, Coxey, began a march from Massillon, Ohio,
Massillon.
thank you, leading an army of as many as 500 unemployed workers to Washington to demand help from the federal government. What you got? Marching from Massillon, 500 of them. That's a long walk.
It is a long
It's a
walk.
long ass walk.
1909.
1940.
1894.
Oh, it's close.
I mean, what? That's a tough one. Here we go.
Yeah, that's tough.
146 people, mostly young female immigrants, were killed when a fire broke out at the Triangle Shirtwaist Company garment factory in New York. The tragedy led to legal reforms for workers' rights and workplace safety. It was
1950.
a sweatshop, dude.
Yeah.
1951.
1938.
1911.
Oh,
Dang, you were right about.
In the so-called Scottsboro Boys case, 9 young black men were taken off a train in Alabama and accused of raping 2 white women. After 2 years of convictions, death sentences, and imprisonment, they were eventually vindicated,
Well, let free.
let free.
1955.
1967.
1931. And here we all sit at 0 and 3.
0-3. Okay.
Okay?
Who's counting?
Well, it's easy to count when you don't get any right. A coal dust explosion in Washington County, Illinois, killed 111 miners. 31 survived.
What was the last date?
Last date was in 1931.
1967.
1952.
1947.
Booyah.
Booyah, there's
I
your
get one
one.
more and you're
There's
going
your
down.
one. Okay.
Gosh dang it.
Terry was a little. You
We're not
just
jumping very
missed
far.
it by that much.
Okay. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. led 25,000 people to the Alabama. We got Alabama in here twice.
Selma.
State capitol in Montgomery, completing a 5-day march from Selma to protest the denial of voting rights to Black Americans.
I should know this exactly.
I
should
don't
get a vote.
know.
1965.
68.
The bonus is in effect. I had 64. Good job. Booyah, boy. All right. Look at you. I'm so proud of you.
But yeah, Rush used to. The reason I said Selma is because that's how John Lewis, who was in that march, who used to be a congressman, he would always say when he'd talk about it, he'd say Selma.
Selma. And no, we don't close. We got 2
I'm
more.
3-3, by the
Terry
way.
was
3
one
and
off.
3. 3 and 3. I'm so proud of losing to you. I don't mind losing. I do not mind losing.
Yeah, no, I know. Me either.
I don't mind losing at all.
Only occasionally.
I got a poem called Losing.
You do.
Yeah.
Might be appropriate for today. Okay. Terry, did he get it right?
One
Terry, get it
off.
right?
64. I had that
Oh,
too.
but he got it.
64.
He
I,
got it right.
I debated on that. I wish I had the bonus. Here we go. 87 people were killed when fire raced through the Happy Land Social Club in New York City. The fire was set by Julio Gonzalez, who had been thrown out of the club following an argument with his girlfriend. The Happy Land Social Club. That sounds like a place where
Yeah,
a guy could get in a little
yeah,
trouble. I'm
exactly.
telling you
When was that?
The Happy Land Social Club in New York City.
What year?
A big fire. Don't.
Dang it.
That's
He's gonna
that's
do it
his
one of
trick,
these
and he's
times.
he's quit doing it.
No, he just did
I
it.
just
That's why
did
I
it.
said it. 1994.
93.
90.
How many more
I'll
we
take
got?
that.
One more.
Oh man.
Got 2 right.
I bombed this one, and I remember it
How
happening.
can you bomb the last one? That's the easiest one. Oh, look, Rita says except casinos. You overachieved, you know that? You outkicked your coverage.
And in that, I take pride. And
I know
when
you
you tell a
should.
guy he overmarried, that's
I
the
know,
greatest
and
compliment
so
you can
did
have.
I.
And I appreciate the compliment,
So
and I
did
pay
I.
it back to you. Here
It
we
was,
go.
yeah.
So I don't know how you can bomb the last one, but I did. And don't dare ask me what the last one was, because if you can't remember it, that's your trouble. In an 81-day standoff by the Montana Freemen began in a ranch near Jordan, Montana. And you remember it
I do
vaguely?
remember it.
2008.
2011.
2008.
I had 2013. It's 1996.
Missed it. All right, I
That's an
finished.
Didn't even
old. That's an
break.
old, most recent one for us. I know that.
I
Wow.
was 4-4.
Didn't even get in 2000. I got 2 right.
God bless you, lad.
Booyah,
I'm
booyah,
happy for you.
booyah.
I'm happy for you.
Okay. There was something else I wanted to close with. I guess I again want to say to those of you who are new to our show, Jeff and I believe this is important. We don't do it just because we're trying to kill time. We do it because we believe it's important. We believe there are few two shows like this. There are millions of podcasts. We will have guests on from time to time, particularly around election season if there are candidates running and that sort of thing, or issue related that needs a response, or a politician that we've called out that wants to come in and talk. And
Right.
if Jasmine Crockett were to come in here and talk to me, I would be respectful,
I know you would.
and I would appreciate her efforts to. I mean, she ran a campaign and she's won twice.
And she'd be sitting on a
So
warm seat.
yeah, how these people win like that, yeah, I don't know, but the idea here is to just be something, not just different. We want to be better and different. That's the key.
That's right. And
Better
you know
and
what I
different.
think we ought to do today? We ought to read our meme and close a couple minutes short and not feel like we need to fill dead air, and let's get right into the cake.
So we can do that. Our
Not on
meme,
the air on the cake, unless you wanted us to eat it on.
I've been looking at that one to eat it the whole show. Um,
You want
but
to take a forkful on the air?
no.
Okay,
I'll have it all over me. Plus, I don't see a fork.
they're right over here.
That's all right. All right, our meme today, and our memes are, we call them meme, but they're really just quotes. They can be a funny meme, whatever. It's quite insane to watch people who rob us blind, trying to justify being upset at us for catching them.
Oh, I like it.
Don't you?
And
So the next time,
was that in parallel to the whole thing that's going on with those, or that's just
no,
something
that's
that's been
just
up?
one that I've had in my file
It's
for us to use for a
nice
long time.
timing though, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
and I would say it's the analogy I used about a burglar being mad at us. Or a better one is for a husband who does his wife really bad, cheats on her, abuses her, whatever, for him to get mad at her, calling him out and taking steps to get rid of the bum. She is not the one who did the wrong, he is. And these people that are so loud in Congress, the Chuck Schumers and everybody else, Jasmine Crockett, they're the ones who are wrong, not Elon Musk. My wife says, you better bring some. I will. Do you see the size of
Yeah,
that
I do.
thing?
And my question is, do you like the end piece with the extra frosting or something in the middle? We need a quick
Well,
reply.
you know, whatever she says, I'm eating it. Um, Anyway, so that's our show for today. We'll be back on Thursday at noon in what is beautiful Waxahachie, Texas. I've told everybody that that has written me and uh, needs to know that Waxahachie, I say it's close to Dallas. It's 30 minutes south of Dallas, but we're our own distinct community. We're not a suburb of Dallas. We're proud of that. But Waxahachie has a lot to offer and a lot of history. Um, so we're here, you're seeing us as we sit in our beautiful city called Waxahachie.
And I hope to wear a short sleeve on every shirt in the next
Every show
every show.
in the
Well,
next 6
in
months.
the next 50 shows.
Yeah.
She wants the middle. Thank you.
Okay, you
All right,
got it, honey.
you got it.
All right. Thank y'all
Okay.
for being with us,
All right.
Jeffrey.
Don't forget, don't write a check. You can't cash. Boom.